Good time of day, guys. My name is Godzi, and welcome back to another episode of Higurashi When They Cry, Ch.8 Matsuribayashi. Last episode was like a little over a week ago, so sorry about that. Life is hard sometimes, and I've been fucking tired of getting used to the start of a new semester and shit like that, so... yeah, last episode we completed more fragments. I still have the list and actually got it out beforehand. We did a routine inspection, depression of a Shinto priest, C103 dose experiment, and H170, which also we discussed the last episode of Sotsu. And now, well, I'm 2 episodes behind on my discussions, and I have not yet seen episode 11 because I didn't want it to skew my discussion of episode 10. So I'm just going to discuss episode 10 right now without having seen episode 11. So, yeah. We're going to start this episode by doing that. So it's time for spoiler time. If you don't want spoilers through episode 10 of Sotsu, then feel free to mute until I bring down the save menu. Here we go. Alrighty, so... I know I was talking a lot about, like, Satoko's redemption and stuff like that, and I understand that it's not really the most important thing in the world anymore, but I still want to talk about it a little, because of this episode, which was fucking wild. So, remember how I said I think it's going to be hard to redeem Satoko? Well, it appears they're already finding a way to try to do that, at least, before she goes on her rampage in Nekodamashi. So... that's something. I don't really know fully how to interpret that scene, but it more or less seems like we're supposed to believe that Satoko is functionally dead, and that the Satoko that we see from now on is just a cruel witch using her name, so in other words, fucking Lambda Delta, more than likely. The only other possibility I can think of is that Satoko just had a cliche angel versus devil moment, and the angel not only lost, but fucking died. But either way, it really seems like the show wants us to disconnect the Satoko we're seeing kill, torture, and traumatize people from the Satoko who existed prior to her killing Teppei. And I don't know how comfortable I feel about that being her redemption, since, well, I made the claim that I believe her to be more morally reprehensible than Takano literally 1 episode ago. And regardless, even if it was just the devil inside her winning, I still don't feel like she deserves to be redeemed yet. If anything, it feels more like the show also wants us to disconnect this Satoko from the past Satoko by implying that she no longer has any good in her. Now, does that mean that she's completely irredeemable now? No, of course not. It makes me feel slightly sorry for her, which if that's the point, then congrats. But it does make the journey of redeeming her completely a lot harder now. That's not to say that I think it was completely ineffective at disconnecting Go/Sotsu Satoko from Satoko beforehand, because it did do pretty good at that. She's more or less completely lost herself, so I'll budge on me saying, like, that she's completely lost herself and is now just torturing people because she hadn't done that just yet. Now she has, so I am very terrified to see what she does in episode 11 and how it continues from there. But yeah, as for the rest of the episode, seeing L5 Ooishi is way more interesting than I thought it would be. Mion just went with the same path her friends did when they were infected, meaning just murder the fuck out of people. Like, this person is in the way of X, so I kill them. But meanwhile, Ooishi's just fucking doing property damage and bending the rules of being a cop by lying to people and doing shit behind everyone's back. Of course, he does eventually end up killing everyone anyways, but his descent feels... I don't know, it might just be because he's old, but it feels a lot more interesting, at least comparatively, than just Rena, Keiichi, and Shion's rabbit holes all over again. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see exactly what pushes him to commit the massacre he does, probably next episode. Because it seems like we're gonna have a lot of time to cover exactly what happens, both with Ooishi murdering people at the festival, and with what happened with Keiichi at Satoko's house. Don't give me spoilers for episode 11 because I have not seen it yet. Although chances are, well, actually, no, it's probably fine. I haven't seen it yet personally as of recording this, but I'm probably going to watch it tonight. So, yeah. This episode was really good. I don't fully know how to interpret Satoko's inner conflict. Whether it's actually an inner conflict or literally just Satoko and the witch she became. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how that continues. Because it seems more like, at this point, Satoko is gone. Like, we don't even have Satoko anymore, so... yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see how she continues descending down her spiral staircase. Or I should say, spiral cliff. But, yeah. I'm excited for next episode and for the arcs following. I don't know if that means we're gonna have a Neko Akashi. I'm not sure we really need one, personally. Because, well... they didn't show much in Neko Damashi anyways. It's more just a mystery of circumstance, it feels, rather than a mystery of how did this happen. It's more like a mystery of why are all of these people acting the same way? Huh, this isn't the Hinamizawa syndrome that we know and quote-unquote love. So if we had a Neko Akashi that goes into detail every fucking episode. Alright, so this is the episode of how Satoko injected Akane. She injected Akane and then she killed everyone. We don't need to know that. But if they do show it, I hope they at least show it in an interesting way. I have enough faith in Ryukishi to the point where he's not gonna write a whole arc telling us shit like that. I'd much rather have info on how exactly this, like, accelerated version of Hinamizawa syndrome works. Assuming that it's even Hinamizawa syndrome. Which it could be, it might not be, it might just be Hinamizawa syndrome anyways, but I think it is like an accelerated version of L5. If that was mentioned in episode 11, then yay, I've predicted the fucking future. Thankfully, I haven't been spoiled on the episode, despite it having been 2 days since it aired. But yeah, I'll watch it tonight, and, should be good. That's it for the discussion. Welcome back, guys. It is time to read. So, the background's different again. Okay. So, from what I remember last episode... well, I have the list here. So, we got a routine inspection, which was, celebratory wine and Irie's decision. Because I'm pretty sure... yeah, Irie's decision let us get in there. So this one we can't do yet. The third sacrifice we can't do yet, but we do have Rika's mother's suspicion. No, we don't. We have father as an opportunist. We do indeed have that. We don't have the death of Satoko's aunt. We probably have the results on C103 and H107 from H170, but we don't have Shirakawa yet. We might have Satoshi not being able to visit. So this might be the next one I try. But we'll see. We don't have this. We definitely don't have that. No. 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 Because Rika hasn't had a fever yet. We might be able to do this one. Because we have the bottle of wine. But we probably don't have Tomatake. Yeah, I crossed off Tomatake's promise with the same color pen I used last episode. I'm using a different color each episode to make it more obvious what's there, so we can't do this because we don't have Tomatake's promise. We don't have Satoshi's part-time job, Rena hasn't shown up, Rena hasn't shown up, Rena hasn't shown up. We have to do Red Capsule to get her, actually, which means we'll have to get to the 30th curse. And we probably will need that, which means we'll need this. So we should be able to do this. There's like a 95% chance that this is the next one. So let's click it. An accident at the Shirakawa Park. Yay! An accident at the Shirakawa Park. Done. Alright. Satoko-chan's dissection plan has been scrubbed, and we are getting ready to administer an almost totally untested medicine, C103. This experimental medicine suppresses the production of a certain type of hormone, and in doing so, it will stop the transmission of the syndrome triggering Satoko-chan's condition. The mechanism of Hinamizawa syndrome is as follows. The pathogen takes over the frontal lobe of the patient's brain, and then induces increased responsiveness to paranoia. As a result, A patient voluntarily carries out excessively defensive behaviors to a problematic extent. If this induction can be cut off, then it'll be possible to save terminal patients from becoming deranged. But it only cuts off an induction, so it's not really a cure. Ironically, the brain is an organ that learns. Once the brain has learned to be excessively paranoid due to the Hinamizawa syndrome, even after the pathogen is eliminated, the brain doesn't simply unlearn that paranoia. In short, even if the pathogen doesn't induce derangement, the patient will be directed to such emotions of their own volition. Thus, it is impossible to completely escape the nearly deranged L5 state. The proverb, burnt child dreads the fire, is a good example of this. Even after the burn on your tongue heals, the fear of being burned by food again remains. When it ends up being a good thing, we call it learning a lesson, and we call it trauma when it doesn't. Interesting comparison. We predict Satoko-chan's treatment will take a significantly long time, requiring both medication, such as administering psychotropics, and mental care, like counseling. We have to slowly unravel her mind's solidified paranoia while also suppressing the syndrome's induction of derangement. This is the treatment plan for terminal patients like Satoko-chan. However, as we are going to stimulate the parts of her brain that affect her emotions while they are being stimulated by the pathogen at the same time, it's possible there could be unexpected side effects. Both her mental and physical strength hold the key to our success. We were going to begin the experiment when she regains her emotional stability and physical strength, but someone who threatens to disturb her emotional stability has been coming here every day. Ooishi, the sly old detective from the Okinomiya Police Department. He thinks everything, from the dam protests to the dismemberment murder of the construction manager, is an organized effort secretly conducted by the three families of the village. He even thinks the accident involving Satoko-chan's parents wasn't an accident. That's why he keeps coming back so he can talk to Satoko-chan. No matter how many times you come, I won't let you see her. She's still crippled by the shock of her parents' deaths. Deaths. That's a hard word. Can't you understand what she's been going through? I understand. I only need a few minutes with her, really. It won't take long at all. If you want me to get a warrant, I will, but that's pretty serious, you know? I'm being considerate of Hojo-san, and that's why I haven't gotten a warrant. What are you trying to ask her anyway? I don't really understand. Well, actually, it's possible that the fall was not an accident. I know the Hojo couple were hated by the whole village after the business with the dam, but who would actually follow them on their trip and push them off? Don't you think that's absurd? Well, we could call it an accident. But if that was the case, there are some things which just don't make sense. Why lie? With those lies, I don't think it was an accident. What lies? Well, Satoko Hojo-san said she was asleep in the car at the time of the accident. I think that story sounds a little off, doesn't it? Satoko-chan claims she was asleep in the back seat when the accident took place, so she didn't get out of the car at the viewing platform. When she woke up, she didn't see her parents. Then she found out they had fallen off the cliff. Where is the lie exactly? You aren't saying Satoko-chan wasn't really asleep, and she went over to the viewing platform with her parents, are you? That's right. Satoko Hojo-san was never asleep. She got out of the car with her parents and went to the viewing platform. I'm suddenly hit by a terrible possibility. If what Ooishi says is true, and Satoko-chan is saying she didn't go to the viewing platform even though she actually did, it's terrible to even imagine. Why are you saying such a thing? Besides, why would Satoko-chan lie? That's just it. Why would Satoko Hojo-san lie? That's why I need to talk to her. Otherwise, this won't end as just a simple accident. Why are you convinced that Satoko-chan is lying? This accident took place in a different jurisdiction. The guys from the Shirakawa station conducted the interviews with the parties involved. There are things that bother me in their report. Bother you? Like what? According to Satoko Hojo-san's statement, her parents asked her to come with them to the viewing platform, but she was sleepy, so she didn't get out of the car. Then she fell asleep and woke up after a while. She became concerned because her parents hadn't come back and started to cry. One of the park workers on patrol noticed her crying and talked to her, and that's how the accident was discovered. And at that time, guess what? According to the park worker's testimony, she was the one who first said her parents had fallen off the cliff. But you see, it's hard to see the accident site in question from where the car was parked. If you look very carefully, you might be able to notice the broken fence. But still, you know. I think it's odd to say your parents had fallen off a cliff just because you didn't see them when you woke up. Normally, most people would say something like their parents went for a walk and didn't come back. It just doesn't make sense to me that she told a stranger that her parents had fallen off a cliff without even being at the site of the accident. I want to ask her why she was so certain that her parents had fallen off a cliff. That's why I keep coming back here. I asked her many times before she was admitted here, but all she said was that she doesn't remember or that she was confused at the time. Sounds like a politician, huh? That's why I think it's worth taking that time to talk to her. That terrifying possibility had turned to certainty in my head. I'd assumed that her parents' accident triggered her terminal symptoms. But no. Satoko-chan had already gone terminal, and just before the accident, her heart was filled with paranoia that drove her mad. She was under a lot of stress because of her bad relationship with her stepfather. She was also being scolded by her mother for not being able to get along with him. If that made her paranoid, made her think her parents considered her to be a bother and were going to kill her. When they went to the viewing platform, she must have thought they were going to push her off the cliff. Then a tragedy took place, and she pushed her parents off instead, although she considered it to have been self-defense. Nope. I'm certain of that, because I know Hinamizawa syndrome better than anybody. This accident isn't an accident. It isn't a crime either, like Ooishi is thinking. It is simply a tragedy. When I talked to Satoshi-kun about the family, I was even more convinced. He told me even though Satoko-chan refused to open up to her stepfather, he had tried to communicate with her. It's true their relationship didn't go well in the beginning. Satoko-chan caused trouble repeatedly, and even called the city's child abuse hotline. At that point, they received guidance from the Child Consultation Center, and they pointed out that the problem lay in lack of communication between daughter and stepfather. So the stepfather took a parenting course under the social worker's guidance, and awkward though it was, he made efforts to communicate with her. Satoshi-kun noticed his efforts, so he tried to talk to Satoko-chan about it. But Satoko-chan didn't notice them at all. The excessive stress she was under triggered terminal symptoms, and she couldn't understand her stepfather's remorse. On the contrary, her stepfather's change created even more mistrust within her. As a result, they went to enjoy the beautiful view of the Shirakawa Nature Park as a family, and to share in that joy. Yet that humble, ordinary family's wish couldn't even get through to Satoko-chan. What a tragic misunderstanding. Satoko-chan stayed in the car telling her parents that she wanted to sleep, but then she got out and snuck up behind them. I bet he heard her footsteps. He pretended not to notice her, thinking that she was doing that to surprise him. It's sad just thinking about what must have ran through his mind. While he thought he had finally gotten through to her, she was actually approaching him with the intent to kill. But that's not Satoko-chan's true nature. It's the disease. Satoko-chan isn't the only one who is to be pitied. Her parents are its victims too. And now, Ooishi thinks she's a criminal. Judgment and punishment are required for crimes with malicious intent. But what she really needs is understanding and sympathy. And no one has that understanding, except for me. because I know about Hinamizawa syndrome. I am the director of the Irie Institute, but I've never behaved as such or exercised that authority. But I'm going to do so for the first time since taking the position. I'm not doing it as the head of the Irie Institute, the secret research organization. I'm doing it as a doctor, so I can protect Satoko-chan. It's about the Hojo family's accident at the Shirakawa Nature Park. Do you think you can ask Okanogi-san from the Mountain Dogs to make it out to be an accident? Sure, of course. That's no problem. The Mountain Dogs are a unit specialized in concealment and manipulation, after all. We have to put an end to it quickly, otherwise the police will end up getting closer to finding out about our research. That's right. Please make especially sure Ooishi-san is drawn away from this case. We're at a delicate stage of the drug administration test. She doesn't need any more unnecessary stress. You're absolutely right. I'll let the Mountain Dogs know. I've heard they even have connections with the police, so I'll give the order to put some pressure on them, too. I'm sure the accident in Shirakawa will be concluded as exactly that within a few days. With that, it was declared an accident. If only it really was one, it would have eased Satoko-chan's soul. Getting rid of the pathogen can't heal that wounded soul. Nor can it erase the tragedy that had already taken place. All I can do is my best, so the day she regains her smile comes sooner. Alright. Man, I really wonder what this fragment was. Might it have been an explanation of what happened at the Shirakawa Park? So yeah, finally revealed, Satoko killed her parents. Yeah, I kind of remembered that all the way back in Tatari Goroshi, I believe. And didn't want to say anything about it, at least on screen, because, you know, spoilers until I guess now. But yeah, that was truth about Shirakawa. And this one had... No, it did not have C103 and H107. But was there anything else that had Shirakawa? I'm not exactly sure, but we will check. Nope, nope, nope. Yes, so we can probably do that one. No, no. Nope, nope, nope. Nope, nope, nope. And from here on, it's Rena. So we should be able to do Distrust of the Mother of a Queen. Please. Yeah! Rika has developed a high fever. Wow! Okay, well, wonder what's next. So we got Rika's fever. Distrust of the mother. I'll just write the rest. A very high fever. It's not flu season, nor a season for any type of contagious disease. I can only think of the suspicious experiments Rika has gone through. Oh, we're in her mom's perspective. Maybe the fever is being caused by those. Her growth is rather slow compared to other children her age. Receiving mysterious shots and going through experiments every week. I'm sure her body is exhausted. I've asked the staff to go easy on her, but Rika herself is fearless and is willing to go through anything. My husband, who should be admonishing her for that, truly believes their story that it's crucial to the lives of over 2,000 villagers, and takes our own daughter to the clinic every week. I'm the only one who's sincerely worried about her health. That's why I want to ask Dr. Irie to be a little more considerate towards Rika. Anyway, I have to talk to them about taking responsibility for this. Right after I called, a staff member came to pick Rika up to admit her to the clinic. As her guardian, I came with them. Please, calm down. We'll make sure she'll be okay, so please wait for a while. How can I calm down? Why did she come down with such a high fever? Isn't this caused by the experiment you performed last week? Rika is just a little girl, you know. She cares about her friends, so she's doing what she can for the sick girl. I understand. There's no way our research would affect Rika-san negatively. Besides, we're being extremely careful so that something like that won't happen. Then explain this high fever! It's probably due to the change in seasons, and... How can this be a simple cold? This is because of the weird shots you gave her! Rika's mom's a fucking anti-vaxxer, great. Dr. Irie only told me to calm down and refuse to accept responsibility. My husband told me this is all for the sake of the village, and that's why I've held back my doubts until now. But I'm at my limit. Their existence has been suspicious from the beginning. They're conducting their research in secret, using a privacy policy as an excuse. That was shady enough on its own. It's just impossible. In fact, I called the Ministry of Health, and was told that wasn't true at all. Even after I told them I'm Rika Furude's mother. The clinic even came up with stupid excuses, saying normal workers often don't know of a special institute like theirs. That doesn't make sense at all. It's much, much too suspicious. Also, there are people who don't appear to be researchers working at the institute. They look like security guards, but they seem so different from normal guards at a normal hospital. In fact, one time I accidentally saw that they were armed with guns. That is, well... Are they policemen? I don't think so! Who are you all anyway? I refuse to believe you're from the Ministry of Health! Dr. Irie seems taken aback by my intensity, and can't even answer properly. They're still hiding a lot more from us. That tells me the research they're working on with Rika isn't anything proper. Anyway, I'm Rika's guardian! Rika is still a child. It doesn't matter what she says. I won't let her participate in this research anymore. My. It's Rika-chan's mother. Hello. Oh, what's the matter? Is everything okay? Well, Rika-chan's mother says she won't let Rika-chan participate in the research any longer. Why is that? Because she's not your guinea pig! We've never treated her that way. You're misunderstanding us. I'm a little startled. Dr. Irie is a weak person who backs down under pressure. Takano-san is different. I'm yelling at her, but she's not afraid at all. On the contrary, she's wearing daggers, and looks as if she's about to jump on me. Catfight. Rika-chan's fever is caused by a cold. We didn't cause it. When it comes to safety and sanitation, we pay the same level of attention as a national research center. I don't mean to be rude, but considering you walk around while holding Rika-chan's hands without disinfecting yours with alcohol first, we are far more sanitary. We're not talking about that! Anyhow, Rika isn't your toy! So never come back here again! You can't decide that by yourself. You and your husband both signed the statement of consent, didn't you? We have been depositing money that's by no means a small amount into your account every single month for her cooperation in the research. What? I know nothing about any money! I've never even heard of that before! Rika receiving money for participating in their research really is news to me. Knowing my husband's character, he wouldn't have used it as spending money behind my back. I bet he thought of it as a free service for the villagers, and completely forgot about the money being deposited into our account. There haven't been any strange deposits in the regular account, so it may be in our savings. Anyway, I don't care about that. If you want to breach our contract, we'll have to ask you to return the full amount of deposits we have made up until this point. Also, if one party is at fault for the breach of contract... Takano-san, please calm down. Mrs. Furude, you too. Just as I explained to you before, we must find a cure for Hinamizawa syndrome so the villagers can continue to live without worries. For that reason, we need to have Rika-san continue to participate. Then tell me, when are you going to find a cure? It doesn't make sense! At first, you said this was for Rika's friend Satoko-chan, but Satoko-chan has been released from the clinic and is now carrying on happily. You even told my husband 2 weeks ago that you found a cure already, didn't you? Yes, I think I told him something like that. But you see, to solve the mysteries of the syndrome... You didn't mention anything about solving mysteries at the beginning! Rika was to participate to find a cure for the villagers. So now her job is done! All the research and experiments you're performing on Rika have nothing to do with the cure. You're doing them out of your own self-interest, aren't I right? That's not true. It really isn't. Anyway, this matter of Rika-san's cold is just a misunderstanding. If you still don't trust us, then... That's enough! Since money is involved here, I'll have to discuss it with my husband. Excuse me? They were just too shady from the very start. Because of their exaggerated story, Rika and my husband took their side, but it won't work on me. Anyhow, I must settle things with them right away, because Rika isn't their toy. I especially don't trust that woman called Takano. Dr. Irie seems to me like he's still a doctor, but she doesn't. How can I describe her? I guess I can say the glow in her eyes is just unpleasant. She only sees Rika as a guinea pig. I can feel cruelty emitting from her. Neither my husband nor Rika have noticed that. I must protect her. As a mother, I must protect Rika. Say your neck is itchy, at least. That's not like you, Takano-san. Getting into an argument with her will only make things more complicated. It's so unlike you. I know. Sorry for losing my cool. Did something happen to put her in a bad mood? Irie wondered. The heated conversation she just had didn't involve the Takano he knew. Man, I wonder why. Alright, so that was also Rika's mom's suspicion, right? So that's Rika's mom's suspicion. And Rika's fever. So, time to save again. So we've done 2 fragments so far this episode, and we're already half a fucking hour in. I really have no fucking idea how many episodes of these goddamn fragments I'll have, but... Oh well, how many episodes has it been so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is already the 6th one. Jesus. Alright, so we can't do that. We should be able to do this one. We might be able to do that one. And from there, okay, so let's just do the 3rd sacrifice. This one should be, yeah. The 3rd sacrifice. There. The situation has changed. Rika's father suddenly changed his mind about having her help out with the research. When Rika came down with a high fever the other day, her mother, who wasn't happy about her daughter helping in the first place, finally blew up. I was hoping the father would convince her somehow. But now he seems to be on her side. Rika's father didn't get emotional like her mother, but he demanded that we make our research plans for Rika clear, and that we finish our research within 3 months at most, which was completely unrealistic. Research can't have a deadline. That's out of the question. We cultivate results by grinding down our knowledge, skills, and time. To take time away from us is like taking away what's vital to live. How could he say such a thing? Curses, 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 curses. Rika's parents are only saying that because they don't know anything about scientific research. However, as they are the parents of the Queen Carrier, we are completely lost about what to do. Tests and experiments on the Queen Carrier are an essential part of our research into Hinamizawa syndrome. Her existence is the focal point of our work. To lose her would be like losing your sense of direction out in open water. Rika is providing her cooperation with our research, but the withdrawal of her guardian's consent could be a setback. The situation is extremely dire. Rika's parents are only interested in finding a cure, but to me, the cure is only a small part of solving the mystery. I can't let her go. Are our differences causing this predicament? And it's not only them. The same is happening between Irie and me. He thinks it's inevitable that we need to stop the research if Rika's parents refuse to consent. That's understandable. From the beginning, Irie never had the determination to solve the mysteries of Hinamizawa syndrome. I'm just testing something. Okay, yeah, it's fine. I have a dial on my new headphones that I can turn up and down, and I was checking to see if it was changing the audio levels on my recording, and it certainly was not, so that's good. I don't know if I already read this line, so I'll say it again. That's understandable. From the beginning, Irie never had the determination to solve the mysteries of Hinamizawa syndrome. He won't back down from the research assertively, but he will passively by agreeing with Rika's parents. Is that the attitude of a researcher who's trying to unravel mysteries? He's the type of man who would step on my grandfather's research with his dirty feet. He is nothing but a coward who's in this half-heartedly. He started to feel guilty over his past the moment he saw blood. He isn't qualified to even be involved in researching Hinamizawa syndrome. He is simply an outsider who joined in because of the client's demands. If I were a man, he wouldn't be here in the first place. That's probably true. While it's true he produced wonderful results with his development of a cure, he seems to think it's alright to close up shop with that. Is he planning to waste everything by being satisfied with just that tiny result? That man doesn't have any right to discard my grandfather's research. I can feel my guts boiling. No. Irie isn't the main person at fault. The one to blame here is that woman, Rika's mother. If she wasn't so selfish, this wouldn't have happened. Maybe it's partly my fault. I maintained trust through relationships and obligations all this time. But somehow, Rika's mother and I didn't get along, so I didn't try to socialize with her. I thought it was fine because I got along with Rika and her father. But now, the mother has influenced the father and changed his decision. What negligence! What a reversal! What a blunder! Irie is saying we should talk to the office in Tokyo about what to do next. But I know once the Tokyo office finds out about this, they'll order us to shut the research down. I've worked so hard to even get things started. If they hear anything negative, they'll put a stop to it. I've come too far to complete my grandfather's research. I can't let it be stopped. I still have a little time to think about this. I need to calm down and analyze this carefully. I've always come up with a great plan when I drink my favorite tea and bite my nails like this. I looked up at the ceiling and closed my eyes, as tenderly as possible. There were times when I couldn't find a solution, but someone else came up with a simple one. I've been able to overcome everything that's been thrown at me. I even endured the hell at that orphanage. So I will never let that woman get in the way. Settle your thoughts down. Think about this clearly. Be calm, Mio Takano. Someone else may come up with a better idea. But who? It's not me. It can't be Irie. Of course, nobody from the village will do. Do I talk to someone in Tokyo? No, I can't. I don't want to owe anyone a favor. Even Koizumi-sensei would be disgusted if he finds out I can't solve such a simple matter by myself. Ah, I know. There's someone I can talk to nearby. They're supposed to be my subordinates after all, so it's worth the try. I called the leader of the mountain dogs, Okanogi. The mountain dogs are my subordinates, but they're also part of the self-defense force, and I'm just a researcher. So we never really had a chance to interact. He did what he was supposed to, and I did what I was supposed to. So I never even thought of discussing anything with him. But the mountain dogs are there to protect and support our research. Why didn't I think of talking to him before? Ah, ugly! I'm ugly as fuck! What a difficult situation. He used to speak standard Japanese, but now he has the Hinamizawa accent. I guess fitting into the region is the first thing they need to do. We may lose the Queen Carrier, and not only that, but her mother might end up exposing our secrets. Can you do something about it? I asked Okanogi rather directly. I'm not really expecting an answer, but... Understood. The mountain dogs will take care of it. Just give us a little time and we'll do a clean job. Take care of it? We'll make sure the police won't get involved. We need a little time to prep, but it won't be difficult. I'm startled. Rika's mother is my enemy, but I was thinking about how I could convince her. But the leader of the Mountain Dogs, the counterintelligence unit whose duty is to protect this secret research, came up with a much simpler plan. Do you mean to kill her? Oh my god, this is the worst fucking sprite I think I've ever seen in a VN. Oh my god, what is this? I'm turning this, yeah, that's a lot better actually. Yeah, whenever Okanogi's on screen, I'm gonna fucking take the time to do this, even though it makes him half a foot shorter. To preserve the secret, I was told to do whatever is necessary. Of course, we won't do anything until we get an order. Right. This is a very simple problem to him. Rika's mother has started to interfere with our research. Not only that, there's a chance she might talk to people about the Institute. So they will eliminate her. That sounds like a good idea. Can you do a good job of it? That's why we're here. This will be our biggest job since the kidnapping of the minister's grandson. I remember now. The Mountain Dogs are the ones who kidnapped the grandson of the Minister of Construction and used that to blackmail him. It has been a few years, so I completely forgot about that. They did such a marvelous job then. That's right, that's right, that's right. I have the Mountain Dogs on my side. Can you get on with it right away? We could easily kill her, even tonight. That'd create too much of a fuss. We'll make it look like she disappeared. So give us a little time to make some arrangements. Okay, he's gone. Whew! Phew! Alright. Just like a cat's eyes under a bright light, I can feel something in the back of my eyes open up. Up until now, I'd been racking my brain trying to figure out how to make her my ally, or at least make her surrender or pacify her. Yep, one order to this man, and the problem's easily solved. I feel like a bird taking its first flight. How easily I can get rid of that annoying mother. All I have to do is give an order. I feel grateful to Koizumi-sensei for giving me such terrific subordinates. What a wonderful power he has given me. I was taught that all people are equal. But if I have the power to control people's lives, then that means I'm more important than they are. What a feeling it is to be above others. So did you just want Rika Furude's mother to disappear? Eh? Oh, well, wait a minute. Does he mean only Rika Furude's mother? I can feel chills all over my body. If possible, maybe I should have her father disappear too. And the President of the United States. And the CEO of Tesla. And, oh my god, all this power! Rika is willing to help. She has no other relatives in the Furude family. If both parents die, she has to depend on someone. The Irie Institute can support her. We can give her status, money, and protection. We can give her everything. By doing so, maybe it's possible to make her one of us, rather than just having her as a helper. All my worries are melting away. Everything I was just concerned about seems like a joke now. I had such powerful subordinates all this time, yet I never realized. All of my tension is being released, and I'm starting to feel relaxed. I can feel myself regaining my cool head. I'm going to get rid of them. Rika's parents, that is. The Queen Carrier is my guinea pig. A guinea pig doesn't need parents. That's right. It's almost time for the Watanagashi Festival. If they die on that day, people will call it the Curse of Oyashiro-sama. The murder case from 2 years ago and the accident from last year are two separate incidents. Yet because they happened on the day of Watanagashi, they're being called the Curse of Oyashiro-sama. Then if her parents' deaths occur on this year's Watanagashi, it'll be Oyashiro-sama's curse 3 years in a row. The miracle of Oyashiro-sama. Also, the curse. I'm going to create them. This is a chance for me to ascend to godhood and toy with human fate. The incidents that occurred 2 years in a row are said to be a curse, but not everyone believes that. However, if it happens 3 years in a row, then everyone has to believe. because that'll be a true curse that's created by me. I'll become Oyashiro-sama. My desire for revenge against God is coming together. Ah! Whatever. Making her merely disappear isn't that fun, is it? Ah, God, he's fucking gross. When I started to laugh, Okanogi grinned to show his interest. We're going to create the curse of Oyashiro-sama. I can't just let her die. She'll be demoned away, and I'm going to enjoy dissecting her alive. Of course, I won't just have fun. This will be extremely useful for our research. After all, she's the previous Queen Carrier. Oh, at least you're hiding his eyes. Not like his fucking fat nose is any better. Alright, so we're halfway through the fragments. That was number 25. So that was query, execution order. And now that I'm halfway done, it seems like a wonderful time to flip the paper over. We're not done this episode yet, after all. I can probably do one or two more. So, yeah. They haven't died yet, so I probably can't do a red capsule yet, I would imagine. But regardless, I can at least save the game. So, we can't do the forced sacrifice. We have the execution order. We don't have the declaration of war from Ooishi yet, do we? I don't know. We should. Where's the old guy? Yeah, we can do this. Mysterious death of the Furude couple. This would be number 26. Here we go. Yes. All right. Mysterious death. I'll just read. Deep down, I was prepared for something to happen tonight. Once again. The first year, the workers were stirred into a frenzy, killing and dismembering the old man. In the second year, the Hojo couple were killed through a fake accident. Since the dam protests, only people who have been hated by the villagers died on the day of Watanagashi. Some people in the village were calling the incidents the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Now that the dam protests are over, there would be no meaning in the village's enemies being killed on the night of the festival, I thought. If that was true, then there were still some enemies left over. I thought that perhaps that would happen again on the night of the festival 3 years in a row. My hunch was right. At first, however, it looked so natural that I didn't think anything of it. The festival was nearing its end, and the village officials were gathered under the main tent. They opened their beers and enjoyed the leftover corn and braised cow tripe from their refreshment stands. I was in the main tent too, being entertained by the villagers. So I was actually there at the scene of the third year's incident when it happened. Yet I didn't notice anything at the beginning. Hey, Furude-san, what's the matter? Are you feeling sick? Most of the older folks in the village were heavy drinkers, but a few were lightweights too. The priest was one of the latter. The priest was a representative as well as a host during the Watanagashi festival. So every time visitors and guests arrived, he greeted them, and each time he was offered a drink. So by the night's end, he was pretty worn out. That's why I didn't think anything of it to see the priest sitting by himself in a folding chair. The mayor, Kimiyoshi, was the one to tap his shoulder and ask him if he was alright. Are you okay? You drank too much, didn't you? Huh? Does your chest hurt? Sorry, I think I'm a little tired. Huh? Didn't you have heart trouble before? Getting sudden pains isn't a good sign. Dr. Irie! Dr. Irie! What's wrong? Is it your chest? That's not good. When I saw what was going on, I noticed he was covered in a terrible sweat and was definitely not relaxing in his chair and enjoying the cool evening breeze. His face had a sickly pallor, and I thought he should lie down immediately. I should probably take you to the clinic. Are you okay? Can you hold on to my shoulder? Hey, somebody help! The priest doesn't feel well. What's wrong with my husband? Dear, are you alright? Takano-san, perfect timing. The priest doesn't feel well, so I'm going to take him to the clinic. Could you please have the car come around here? Sure, no problem. So the priest and his wife headed to the clinic with Dr. Irie. I don't know about young people, but the elderly know their own bodies well. They almost never push themselves to the point where they start feeling ill. Especially someone like the priest. It was hard to imagine him drinking himself sick. The cumulative experience of my years was telling me something. I headed to the Irie clinic just in case. I tried to follow the car, but because the festival was almost over, and all the stands were closing up, there was a lot of traffic going in and out, making it almost impossible for me to leave the temporary parking lot. More than 20 minutes had passed since the priest was carried in by the time I arrived at the clinic. 20 minutes. If it hadn't taken me 20 minutes, my involvement in this year's incident would have been quite different. I regretted not leaving on foot the moment I realized how hard it was to get my car out. All I get to do now is jot down the facts. Because between the time the priest left the festival and the time I arrived at the clinic, during those 20 minutes, this year's curse had taken place. The priest's condition changed for the worse right after he arrived at the clinic. He died. The autopsy's results say it was heart failure, but how can I accept that? So he died at the clinic? Good job, Studio Dean. The amount of time, like, the only reason I remember this by fucking heart is because of how many times I went back through the Onikakushi torture chamber when I edited it. When they talked about his death, or I should say when Takano talked about his death, they said he died of an unknown illness, and it showed him, like, falling over in his house, one of his hands ripping through a screen door. Like, good consistency there. Whatever. I don't think the priest was having health problems, and everyone was taken by surprise by this sudden event. Moreover, the wife of the priest disappeared too. According to the clinic staff, she was with him right after he died, but she's nowhere to be seen now. Of course, she's not at home either. Maybe someone poisoned the priest. During the dam conflict, the priest was frowned upon for his remarks. He said there was no need to make a big fuss, because the dam project would be cancelled anyway. The older villagers liked to hold grudges and hadn't forgotten that, so even I had heard word of them talking about how the priest wasn't fit for the shrine to Oyashiro-sama. I called for backup and had them go search for the missing wife. With last year's falling Capo incident as precedent, it was easy to believe both wife and husband could become victims. The village's youth group got organized and searched from the village to the mountains, and as a result, we found a set of sandals and a will by the edge of the Onigafuchi swamp. The will said something about how her husband's death was the curse of Oyashiro-sama, and she was throwing herself in the swamp to calm the god's anger. In other words, she committed suicide by jumping into the swamp. Legends say that the swamp is bottomless, and is connected directly to hell. Once you sink, you'll never come back. Divers from the police department searched the swamp, but her body was nowhere to be found. The past two mysterious incidents were solved individually, just as the higher-ups say, but something is odd about this year's mysterious death. The ill priest was carried to the clinic. His wife accompanied him. Within 20 minutes, the priest died of heart failure, and the wife either committed suicide or disappeared. The death of the priest may really have been a fatal heart attack, but for his wife to assume that it was the curse, and to commit suicide by jumping into the swamp, for all that to happen in 20 minutes just doesn't seem natural. The Furude family has no relatives. Even if she was a true believer in Oyashiro-sama, how could she commit suicide while leaving behind her one and only daughter? Irie is hiding something too, but he's just a village doctor, which means he's nothing more than their pawn. If this is all a conspiracy to assassinate the priest, then there is someone who's pulling the strings. I'd been starting to think that trying to tie the past two incidents to the village so forcefully was a bit overbearing of me, but this incident was enough to convince me that this series of cases involving mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa were all grounded in one intention. This incident has countless numbers of discrepancies, but someone from the village seems to be putting pressure on high command. And just like the past incidents, this one will be treated as an individual case, and end up being forgotten. Since it happened 3 years in a row, everyone in the village will say it's the curse of Oyashiro-sama. I think that's the culprit's goal. After the war, belief in Oyashiro-sama became antiquated. If someone committing these murders is a ritual to restore that god's dignity, the one pulling the strings must be the Sonozaki family. A few months passed. Oryo Sonozaki said something like it was natural for that priest to be cursed by Oyashiro-sama, and so the priest's case was lumped together with the mysterious Hinamizawa deaths, otherwise known as Oyashiro-sama's curse. At first, I simply wanted to avenge the old man, but now that case had grown into an abnormal one, centered on the village's faith. Damn it! The old man's killer is human. I won't let it be pushed off onto some nonsense curse. Alright, well, that was very clearly... the death of the Furude couple. So we're 26 in. That's the last fragment I'm going to do this episode, because I'll be honest, my throat's sore as fuck. So, okay, more like third year's curse. Third year's curse. So before I end the episode, though, let us see what I'll probably be able to do next episode. So, we can do this. We'll probably start with a red capsule. Otherwise, we can't do that one yet. We can't do that or that. We should be able to do this. We can't do that yet. Can't do that yet. Can't do that yet. We'll be able to do this after a red capsule. We might be able to end up doing this then. Wait. Mysterious Death of the Furude couple. Which is just the title, but yeah, Mysterious Death, Furude. Yeah, I don't have space to put couple. We don't have either of that. We don't have Takano's... Whoa! Maybe we have Takano's Revenge? And then from there on is fucking other stuff. We might have Takano's Revenge. I'm just even gonna put it at the top of the paper. Takano's Revenge? Question mark? I feel like I've considered that several times though, so far. But yeah, we'll start next episode with the red capsule. So, yeah, well, actually, we'll start it with a discussion of the next episode of Sotsu, which I'll watch tonight. So, yeah, I'm gonna let my throat relax because, yeah, it's pretty sore. So, yeah, pretty more now after this episode, less so, but the episode of Your Turn to Die that I recorded was fucking hell on my throat, so yeah. I think you could tell because it's 2 hours, but either way, that's going to be it for this episode, guys. If you liked it, then be sure to press the like button, and if you didn't like it, then fuck you too. Remember to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my videos and stuff. And as always, my name is Godzi, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!